Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And beautiful, dramatic day today, a mixture of those cumulus clouds, which will turn into cumulonimbus clouds later, and also the blue sky out there today. And we got a lot warmer than we thought today, but we did see the windy conditions that we thought we'd see. But this is a beautiful shot looking down at the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera. I mentioned thunderstorms. It is possible, not so much for us. The areas in green are the areas we're keeping our eye on. So some portions of our viewing area could see some thunderstorm activity with wind gusts from 30 to 50 miles an hour, brief heavy downpours, maybe some small hail, and maybe even some isolated lightning strikes. We'll talk more weather coming up a little later on in the newscast. Now, a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. A multi-million-dollar lawsuit over a failed Wenatchee Valley cryptocurrency enterprise is settled about a year after it was filed. Investigators in 3 north central Washington counties will soon have more special storage to keep evidence of sexual assault. And all it took was a bark from K9 Chewbacca and a domestic violence suspect who had barricaded himself in a Moses Lake motorhome decided it would be best to surrender. But first, our top story tonight. 2 people were hospitalized after a 2-vehicle wreck early yesterday afternoon on Highway 28, about 2 miles east of Quincy. Washington State Patrol Trooper John Bryant said 74-year-old Randall Jimerson of Quincy, the driver of a 2019 Chevrolet Silverado pickup, is believed to be at fault after his vehicle struck a 2015 Ford Expedition. The driver of that Expedition, 55-year-old Thelma Vargas of Quincy, and an unidentified passenger were transported to Quincy Valley Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. Jimerson was not injured. The accident blocked Highway 28 for almost 2 hours. A multi-million-dollar lawsuit over a failed Wenatchee Valley cryptocurrency enterprise has settled about a year after it was filed. Investors initially accused Malachi Salcido of fraud in his handling of the cryptocurrency mining company Step Change, saying his company misallocated about $2.4 million. Step Change, which operated out of the Pangbourne Data Center in East Wenatchee, was placed in receivership during the lawsuit. The investors agreed to drop their suit in exchange for about $1.5 million in the settlement, which was approved last month by Chelan County Judge Travis Brandt. A report from the receiver, little evidence that investor funds had been abused, and blamed much of Step Change's failure on the volatile Bitcoin market. In other news, investors in 3 north central Washington counties will soon have more special storage to keep evidence of sexual assault. The Washington Attorney General's office this week provided $177,000 in federal funding to buy refrigeration units for the Chelan, Douglas, and Okanogan County Sheriff's offices, as well as police departments in Ephrata, Moses Lake, and Soap Lake. 47 other departments statewide will receive similar funding. The project arises from a new law requiring evidence of unreported sexual assaults be preserved for up to 20 years. The purchases will help local agencies increase their storage capacity to stay in compliance and prevent a further backlog of unsolved rapes. Well, all it took was a bark from K9 Chewbacca and a domestic violence suspect who had barricaded himself in a Moses Lake motorhome decided it would be best to surrender. Deputies had responded at 9:30 a.m. Friday to a property in the 500 block of Castle Drive in the Larson community where a woman had reportedly been assaulted and was being held in a motorhome against her will. The woman was able to escape, but the man, 37-year-old Jeremy W. Mandewell, refused to come out. Deputy Kyle Foreman said Corporal Nick Overland responded to the scene with Chewbacca, and after a bark from the K9, Mandewell gave up. Mandewell was lodged in the Grant County Jail on suspicion of second-degree assault, residential burglary, and unlawful imprisonment. Well, when we come back, the flood of federal aid for the COVID-19 pandemic came with some strings attached and created some bureaucratic headaches, including in Grant County. The Chelan-Douglas Board of Health will interview 10 candidates for new board positions and will then choose 5 primaries and 5 alternates on March 28th. Chelan County PUD wants to hear from the public about Wenatchee's Confluence Parkway project. And a nonprofit land trust is angling to buy approximately 35,000 acres of woodland in Chelan County over the next 7 years. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
The 2022 Grant County Fair is excited to announce country supergroup Lone Star. They'll be playing at the fairgrounds Thursday, August 18th. Friday, August 19th, it's Cameron Marlowe. And on Wednesday, August 17th, it's the tribute bands Jukebox Heroes, Barracuda, and Stone in Love. 3 of the premier tribute bands on the West Coast. VIPC tickets go on sale March 11th. The Grant County Fair, August 16th through the 20th.
Welcome back. In another news, the flood of federal aid for the COVID-19 pandemic came with some strings attached and created some bureaucratic headaches, including in Grant County. The Washington State Auditor says the county failed to perform required risk assessments and monitoring for 3 agencies, which received a total of $3.7 million in COVID funds channeled through Grant County. The auditor's office says there's no evidence that the money was subsequently misspent or abused. The county says staff turnover contributed to the oversight, and it's now put a checklist system in place to comply with the federal rules. 5 new members of the reformed Chelan-Douglas Board of Health will be selected 2 weeks from now. State law now requires the 2-county board include non-elected appointees as well as local elected officials. The commissioners of Chelan and Douglas counties plan to make those appointments March 28th after interviewing 10 final candidates by Zoom yesterday. Here's what some of those applicants had to say.
Having a subject matter expert in environmental health with relevant project experience to some of the issues that might come before the board is of course something I could bring and provide valuable input on. Beyond that, I think my experience as a small business owner, I'm one of the co-owners of Gradient, can provide a good perspective.
I see us going into this recovering from COVID phase, and that's going to be a combination of after action reporting, seeing what went well and what could be done better during the COVID outbreak and the response, but also starting to get back to normal of what public health has always been, which is other diseases and other things like sanitation and environmental health procedures.
I think that working with the diverse communities will contribute to the function of the board as we work on policy that will impact our communities, which come from different perspectives and backgrounds. So when considering culture, language, social economic status, or other demographic factors, I think that'll be very helpful to the board.
In the next 12 to 24 months, I think it's going to still be important that the Chelan-Douglas Health District is going to need to continue to work on ensuring that COVID-19 vaccinations and boosters are distributed so that we can make COVID-19 go from being pandemic to endemic, more like the seasonal flu. The health district also needs to address some of the collateral damage that the communities experience from the pandemic, especially mental health in our community, specifically for children and youth who've had much higher rates of anxiety and depression.
A big challenge for all healthcare is staff burnout and staffing shortages. I imagine that's the case here as well. And also implementing public health in context so that all populations are served, which will mean different approaches for different groups. And when we think of different groups, people often think of languages and cultures, but also the difference between urban and rural access to healthcare.
I think we're gonna see the side effects of our youth who have been through this pandemic and have turned to substance use to cope with some of their life on life's terms. And I think we're going to really see the effects of that in that 5 to 10 year range when those students are young adults and stepping into their life. And I think a lot of the recovery in the community is going to need to be highlighted at those times.
The district's been operating in an emergency mode. It needs to go back to a normal mode of operation. That's the only sustainable way to do business for retaining employees and also for serving the community. So that's going to take some planning to get it right. The transition will require the district to reassess some of the priorities that it's had over the past couple of years, some of the funding streams, some of the staff assignments to meet these future demands.
Chelan County PUD wants to hear from the public about Wenatchee's Confluence Parkway project, which would require changes to some PUD-owned properties, including the Apple Capitol Loop Trail. The North Wenatchee Bypass would run adjacent to Confluence State Park and the Haran Natural Area and require about 6 acres of PUD parkland and a rerouting of the section of the Loop Trail. On March 21st, an 11-question online survey will be available on the PUD's website. Then on March 30th, PUD staff will be stationed along the Loop Trail between Holly Street and the pedestrian bridge to offer on-the-ground explanations of the proposed changes. There also will be a drop-in session March 30th at the Confluence Technology Center. For details, see the Chelan PUD website. The state legislature recently included $85 million for the project in its long-range transportation plan, which will be the final piece in the parkway funding when it is allocated. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's features story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
The best pizza in the known universe is right here in downtown Chelan, so come on up. For the best locally crafted beer and barbecue in Chelan, come on up.
For the best down-home scratch country cooking in North Central Washington, you'll find it in Manson. Come on up.
Come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
Spring is more than just a time to clean. It's your time to renew, recharge, and spend time with the people you love. At Merry Maids, our cleaning services go beyond the basic services and provide you with a comprehensive clean that will re-energize your home and enhance your life. From everyday routine cleaning or deep cleanings, Merry Maids professional team members can provide you with an unrivaled experience. Call Merry Maids to schedule your cleaning today.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. After a 2-year absence, Wenatchee's St. Patrick's Day Parade returns to the streets Thursday night. In tonight's feature story, parade organizer Dave Harold of Sunny FM told Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz that the parade lineup is growing by the day.
It's back. We had sort of a virtual parade last year with the mayor, and the mayor actually showed up, and we had the royalty. But this year, everything's full steam ahead, and we're going to go down the Orondo Street for those that aren't familiar with the parade. And as you mentioned, it's the 41st annual. And we got lots of entries. I mean, look at all these. See?
Wow.
A lot of entries.
Is it too late now? It's Tuesday as we air this.
People can go ahead and still sign up. They can just go to our Facebook page, our social media page, and Allie Jordan will take care of you, and we'll make sure that you're in the parade and get you all lined up. Parade sets up this Thursday, of course, St. Patrick's Day, about 6:15 to 6:30. Parade starts around 7-ish, and of course the mayor will
lead the way. It goes all the way back to the late 70s, early 80s. With Jim Lynch, Irish by heritage, started the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, and then it went from Jim to Earl Tilley, and then down to Dennis Johnson, and now my brother leads the way as well. Your buddy Tom is here too. This is bad news. Yeah. Talk about the ad hoc committee that puts this whole thing together, Dave. Who's in charge of this?
Well, there's really nobody in charge. Which we sort of say Tom Urban, who's off the camera here right now. He just walked into the Sunny FM studios, but there's a committee, and normally we have a grand marshal, as you know. We have Department of Communications and the director of this and director of that. But this year, everything is going to be not donated, but in honor of first responders due to our past 10 pandemic.
So we actually may have ground marshals who show up.
Yeah. This would be the first parade that a grand marshal would show up in 41 years. Yeah.
Let's take a look now at your north central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Tuesday. It got nice and mild out there today. We did see plenty of wind too, but what a beautiful shot looking down at the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera up on Wenatchee Heights. I talked about unseasonably warm weather, and we saw that today unofficially. Our high temperature at Pangbourne Airport, look at that, 57 degrees. That's 5 degrees above where we should be at 52. Record 68 degrees set back in 1994. We started off at 37. That's a few degrees warmer as well than our normal low temperature of 34. Record low just 2 years ago in 2020 when we dropped to 21. Yesterday we picked up 0.11 of an inch of rain or inch of moisture out of that rain yesterday. It seemed like we should have got more than that, didn't it? 1.74 now for the year. Sunrise 7:13 and the sun will set this evening at 7:07. Let's take a look at your Wednesday temperatures, and tomorrow should be just a beautiful day. Much less wind tomorrow, sunny skies, and some of these temperatures beautiful. 56 in Moses Lake and Ephrata, 55 in Quincy, 53 for the high temperature in Wenatchee, 52 in Entiat, and 45 beautiful degrees if you're heading up to Lake Wenatchee tomorrow. Now as we take a look at how our next 6 or 7 days will shape up, partly cloudy skies tonight. Here's that ridge up and over the Pacific Northwest, but this is the storm system that'll break it down over the next couple of days. We're going to stay a little bit breezy tonight. It will be mild with lows in the low to mid 30s for our area. As we get into Wednesday, mostly sunny skies and mild. Boy, look at that. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s. And then things begin to change a little bit as this area of low pressure begins to push on shore. St. Patrick's Day will be a little bit cloudy. We'll see high temperatures slightly cooler into the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. By Friday, a little bit rainy, especially as we get into the late afternoon and early evening. High temperatures in the lower 50s. This is during the day on Friday. And then Friday night, maybe some scattered showers as well in this big westerly flow. High pressure begins to slide back up as we get you into the weekend. Morning showers not out of the question with some clearing skies in the afternoon. High temperatures as we kick off the weekend near 50 degrees. And then for our first day of spring, boy, we've been waiting for that, right? Partly cloudy skies and mild. Once again, high temperatures near 50 degrees. Area of low pressure will slide to the north, but that's going to drag some of that atmospheric river our way on Monday, and we are expecting rain likely on Monday. It will be on the mild side, though, with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We're even talking some heavy rain showers at times Monday evening, and then as we get into the middle of next week, even heavier rain, which we'll talk about more tomorrow. tomorrow night. Take a look now at your 7-day forecast. 36 the overnight low tonight. We're still going to see some breezy conditions. 53 and mostly sunny should be a beauty tomorrow. Turning mostly cloudy for your St. Patrick's Day on Thursday, and 49. Rain showers late in the day and early evening on Friday. That will move into Saturday morning with some morning rain, then mostly sunny and 50. 51 degrees by Sunday with partly cloudy skies, and then rain is likely throughout the day on Monday with a high temperature then of 53 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
What is home? A place to gather, a place to grow, provide shelter for the ones we love, eat, drink, restore, build trust. It's a place to rest when the workday is done, a place to find quiet after a night of good fun. What an honor we have at Guild to help own, finance, create, pave the way to live in home.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCWLIFE channel.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. Spring training is underway for the Mariners and the rest of baseball, and Seattle pulled off a big trade on Monday. Seattle acquired all-star left fielder Jesse Winker and slugging third baseman Eugenio Suarez from Cincinnati in exchange for right-handed pitcher Justin Dunn, outfielder Jake Fraley, and left-handed pitching prospect Brandon Williamson. President of Baseball Operations for the Mariners, Jerry DiPoto, says the addition of Winker and Suarez solidifies Seattle's lineup.
These guys make our lineup longer, a lot more ominous. We feel like it gives us the lineup depth that playoff teams have. And this was a goal of ours heading into the offseason, and we tried a lot of different avenues, so to speak, and over the course of the last 3 or 4 days, drove down a lot of dead ends, spun around in a number of different cul-de-sacs. And the one thing that was constant was the interaction with the Cincinnati Reds. And when it came to the point that we were able to get both of these guys in the same deal, it was too much impact for us to pass up on, and really excited to have them join the team.
Winker hit .305 with 24 home runs and 71 RBI for Cincinnati last season. He was caught off guard by the trade, but says he's looking forward to playing with his new team.
Obviously, it's part of the business. It's what you sign up for, when you sign. But I can't wait to go to Seattle. I've heard nothing but amazing things about the city, about the team, and we're trying to win. And I'm really, really excited about that. Looking forward to competing, and I can't wait to get over there. And thank you to the Castellini family for making a 18-year-old kid's dream come true by drafting me. And thank you to everybody who had a piece of this along the way here. There's so many people, and thanking them one by one is going to be tough, but thank you to everybody. And I'm looking forward to this new chapter for me and my family.
Suarez is expected to be the replacement for Kyle Seager at third base in Seattle. He says he was surprised by the trade and sends his love to Cincinnati.
I don't know what I say, but what I feel in my heart is I appreciate everything. Thanks at Cincinnati Reds. Thank you guys here around me. You guys always support my career, always support my seasons, and I appreciate that a lot. Now I got a new opportunity to go to Seattle and do my best and make a playoff and win in the ring for Seattle now. And I just want to let you guys know that I love everything in Cincinnati. My first daughter born in Cincinnati, so Cincinnati in my heart. So thank you guys so much, and see you in the ballpark.
Yeah, we will see you in the ballpark. Suarez hit 31 home runs, drove in 79 runs for the Reds last season. Now that the team has been assembled in Peoria, they can work towards a Cactus League schedule beginning Friday against San Diego. One big question coming into camp was regarding the health of center fielder Kyle Lewis. He missed most of last year with a knee injury, had surgery to repair a torn meniscus. Jerry DiPoto says they hope Kyle is ready to go, but will still bring him along slowly.
He looks tremendous. He's physically strong. He's running through his baseball drills. You know, how we feel with his physical stability coming into camp is about as encouraging as it could be. I think as a rule, we want to move slower than fast. And you know, once we had a chance to visit with him, I don't think he or we have concerns that the physical rehab is still ongoing, but we still want to treat him like a rehab player and introduce him. Send him back into the water and let him wade before we ask him to swim fast. So the chances of him starting the season on time are not great, but we do believe that there's a fine time, and we should see him sooner than later. But until we know, it is very much like what we went into with the offseason. We just don't quite know.
Seattle narrowly missed the playoffs last year for the first time in 20 years. They'll play 18 exhibition games before beginning the regular season in 24 days from now in Minneapolis against the Twins. Well, following an avalanche of seemingly bad news for Seahawks fans last week with the loss of Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner going away, Seattle made some positive announcements yesterday. The first positive news was that they have re-signed All-Pro safety Quandre Diggs to a new 3-year contract. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport says the deal is worth up to $40 million. Diggs is reportedly making a great recovery from a broken leg suffered in Seattle's final game of the season at Arizona. Some other positive news. Seahawks fans will love the re-signing of tight end Will Dissly. Washington Husky grad reportedly inked a $24 million deal in to help him stay in Seattle for the next 3 seasons. Well, it wasn't the postseason tournament they hoped they'd be in, but the Washington State Cougars began NIT play tonight. WSU is hosting Santa Clara at 8 o'clock at Friel Court at Beasley Coliseum. Game will be broadcast on ESPNU. Meanwhile, prior to that, the NCAA tournament last chance entries will battle in what's called the First Four, held in Dayton, Ohio. It's Texas A&M CC versus Texas Southern today. That game underway. That's followed by Indiana and Wyoming. Tomorrow, it's Bryant and Wright States at 3:40, followed by Notre Dame and Rutgers. The winners of the First Four will fill in the NCAA bracket as 16th seeds Thursday and Friday for the first round. That means you still have a couple of days to get your brackets and your pool play for the office. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Can't wait for March Madness. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Tomorrow on Wednesdays, we always make a point of checking in with our good friends at the Wenatchee Wild, Arch Ecker, head coach Chris Clark, and David Rayfield will be joining me. They're down to just 4 more home games in the regular season before the playoffs begin. The Smoke Eaters from Trail will be at the Town Toyota Center this weekend. We'll talk about that with Arch Ecker. We'll have that pretty nice-looking forecast. If Grant's forecast holds up, and he's pretty good at it, all that for you, too, on Wednesday, and everything else you need to start your day. Love to see you. We're live and local at 7 a.m. every Monday through Friday. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with me, Dan Kuntz. Grant Olson, back to you.
Thank you, Dan Kuntz. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
The NCWLIFE channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCWLIFE channel today.